The famous 30-second handshake where Trump just wouldn't let go of French President Macron's hand. Many have just laughed at it, but here's what Macron should have done to prevent his fingers from getting crushed by Trump, while also coming across as more dominant than Trump. Find out what he should have done next. Welcome back to the channel. Derek Van Schaik here. We're going to review the 30-second handshake that happened in 2017 between President Trump and President Macron in France. What was happening is that they were in some kind of French parade. They decide that a good handshake would be a good photo op, show of unity. But the handshake lasted way longer than Macron wanted it to. What we're going to do here is analyze exactly what happened. Then I'm going to tell you what Macron should have done. Let's get started. They're walking along, they look each other in the eye, then they give each other a handshake. So at this point, it's just a typical handshake. With that pat on the back and that handshake, what he's implying is, this is my country, welcome to my country, isn't it so beautiful here? And then Trump, feeling a little dominated by the pats on the back Macron was doing, Trump wants to pat too, to show some dominance, so he's not going to refrain from that. So where can he pat? Well, he just goes and pats Macron where he can, and that's on Macron's hand. If you ever had someone pat you on the hand, it really implies a lot of dominance over you. The handshake continues at this point, and you can tell this is not any kind of flimsy handshake. This is still a very, very solid handshake going on here. So Macron is trying to end the handshake. Macron goes to point to something to divert Trump's attention to looking at something and away from the handshake, and maybe they can start pointing around with their hands and not shaking each other's hand. It's actually a really, really good diversion technique to end a handshake. This is very, very interesting in body language world. Trump sees the hand, but he doesn't look immediately. What he's trying to do is convey dominance. What's dominant is someone looking when they want to look, not looking when you go and point. Dominant people, they don't react to people. They just act. They act the way they want to act. Look at this right here. Trump pulls Macron off his feet when he goes to take a look. Almost to say is, I'll look subordinate for a second by looking at what you pointed out, but you're also going to look subordinate by hobbling on one leg when I pull you over. Literally, that's what's happening right here. And then here comes the pats, indicating, hey, this handshake's over. Give me my hand back. And this is the part that starts to get really funny. The women start to take notice of what's happening here. If you notice, both women, Macron's wife and Trump's wife, start to look and start to wonder, what are these guys doing? They've been handshaking for a very long time and it's starting to look kind of awkward. And then Macron's wife is becoming very curious. Like, what is Trump doing to my husband? And it turns out that they're bro handshaking, with Trump patting Macron on his right chest, almost to say, hey, Macron, it's all right, man. I'll give you your hand back when I want to give it back. It's going to be okay. And then Trump focuses his attention to Macron's wife, who's looking upon extremely curiously. What is going on here? Trump looks at Macron's wife and then is like, I'm not going to leave you out. Goes in for a double cheek European kiss, both sides, and then grabs Macron's wife's right hand in this group type handshake. Look, Macron is still patting him on the shoulder, still patting him. Give us our hands back. Give us our hands back. We want our hands back. And this is the hilarious part. Right before Trump finishes holding Macron's hand, he pats it one last time and kind of looks away as if to say, wow, I really like this hand. I'm going to miss it. And then finally releases it. Now again, Macron's wife saw all of this unfold. She saw her husband feel like he was just completely dominated by Trump. So now watch what happens. She grabs Melania Trump's left wrist, not her hand, something that you don't really ever see. If you ever had someone grab your wrist, it's extremely dominating, because what it says is, I own you. I control you. And this is not by accident. This is not, oh, she just happened to grab her wrist and missed her hand. No. This is completely because of what just happened between Trump and her husband. And now she holds up Melania Trump's left wrist, presenting it to Trump, saying, hey, you want to dominate my husband? Watch me dominate your wife. And this is the hilarious part. He notices that Macron's wife is holding Melania Trump's wrist up, and he points at it like, what on earth is happening right here? So now let's rewind. Now what we're going to do is talk about what Macron should have done in order to end the handshake while also coming across as dominant. If you want to come across as dominant, you cannot be saying anything like, give me my hand back, or ow, you're crushing my fingers. You cannot say that. You come across as weak. You come across as someone who can't handle a handshake. So that's not an option. Keep in mind here, the whole lengthy handshake that Trump does is all a display of dominance. And what dominance is being able to do things that other people don't have the courage to do and can't just get away with. A pure play of, hey, I can dominate you. I can shake your hand as long as I want. What, you trying to get out of my handshake? You're not getting out of my handshake. I'm going to hold your hand because I want to hold your hand. And you know what? I'll release your hand when I feel like releasing your hand. That's just a display of power. And if you notice, Trump does that time and time and time again. It's just doing things that other people just can't do. So what you need to do is break that whole power frame is by acknowledging the pink elephant in the room. And that pink elephant is the handshake. The way that Trump sees it is that you're not going to say anything about it because I'm more dominant and you wouldn't dare talk about it. So what you do is you talk about it to break that frame. What you say to Trump is, has anyone ever told you you have a firm handshake? See what you did? When you start to talk about that pink elephant in the room that person of power feels like he wouldn't have the guts to talk about, all of a sudden you are dissolving their power frame. And what they're doing isn't very powerful at all anymore. If you do that, you'll get your hand back and you'll also come across as dominant. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you at the top.